But Bud can do all kind of stuff. You know, he can box in there. He can really box, you know. And really, that's the best way to beat a Shawn Porter, just boxing. He don't try to let you boxing, but he ain't going to do nothing but bull rush you and, you know, use his head and everything. He's just an ugly fighter. Lord bless him. He's just terrible. You know, you can't, nobody likes the way Shawn Porter fights. He's just terrible. But he got a
You don't think he Mexican style? You don't think he Mexican style, man?
Mexican style. Mexican style is Marco, Antonio, Barrera. Yes, that's true Mexican style. Mexican style is Marco Antonio Barrera, a la Julio Cesar Chavez. You feel me?
Yeah, well, they say Porter is the Hagler of today. You know, they say this is the golden era, and they say Porter the Hagler
was way smoother than Hagler was way smoother than Porter, man. Come on. And he fought both sides. Come on, man. Porter, man, I love Porter. See, but Porter, he's such a gentleman, and he shows so much class. You know, they talk about him, but he shows so much class. You can't do nothing but love Porter. I don't care. You can't do nothing but love. And he gonna fight you. That's the one thing you gonna get with Shawn Porter is a fight. A fight with Shawn Porter.
He's gonna come to fight. Now, you brought up this earlier that Danny Garcia was ranked #1 under the WBO. Now, what happened with that? When was that? And what happened with that?
I guess Danny didn't pull the trigger. You know, like I'm saying, if you force your mandatory, then the man ain't got no choice. You know, the mandatories, they serious. You know, if you force your hand and say, man, I want my shot, you gonna have to do it. Bud want to fight them all. Put them all in a row, murderers row. Give them all one. Give me all of them one after another. They just don't want to fight. Period. I don't know. I mean, they getting shamed into having to fighting, but still they ain't even getting no shame. You hear they throwing Shawn Porter around. Look, they throw Shawn Porter around like a rat. Who find Shawn? He the tester for everybody. He the tester for everybody. Here, Shawn. Man, get out of here. I love Shawn Porter too. No disrespect to Shawn Porter. No disrespect. I don't mean no harm about Shawn Porter. I mean, I respect his work ethic. Wait, because they heard me yesterday. I respect his work ethic. You know, I don't really care for his style, but you know, he do what he do, and he carry himself with class. So I ain't got no trouble with Shawn Porter. You know, I don't think that's a bad fight for us. You know, even though Bud don't hardly much need that, but at the same time, you know, he might need that now.
According to Porter, he said that he had a conversation with Crawford, and he said that Crawford told him, I have bigger fish to fry. You're not in my plans right now. So since that conversation took place, Shawn Porter is now ranked #1. He's ranked #1 under the WBO after he beat Formula. Is that fight possible? Porter is showing interest, but is that fight possible?
Now. If he's the WBO #1 contender and he forces his hand on that, which Danny Garcia didn't because he was #1 contender. Okay, we gonna fight him then. Ain't no question. Come on, man. Bud ain't gonna relinquish no championship. Stop it.
Oh, so man. He ain't on no Canelo. He ain't gonna ask no French fries title, none of that.
No.
So 1000% Bud is fighting Porter. If Porter becomes a mandatory, he will face him 1000%.
Ain't no question. It's gonna be like clockwork. Cause first Shawn Porter wants to fight, so it's gonna be easy. Then he say, I'm forcing my WBO ranking. I need that. So it's either you vacate or you fight, right?
Right.
So there we go. So I guess we already got a blueprint then, right? That's going to be the fight then, right?
Shawn Porter, he surprisingly came out and said that the reason why the Crawford fight didn't happen is not because we are friends. It's not because of friendship. He said we could be friends after I kick his ass. So that's a big statement, to say the least. For Shawn Porter to say something like that, that's a big statement on his behalf. So what's your take on them comments by Shawn Porter?
Shawn Porter's not really the, you know what I'm saying, the blowing the smoke type of guy. So I mean, there's a certain amount of genuine in his statements. I mean, you know, I get it, because at the end of the day, if the fight is available, you know what I'm saying, if the fight is available, I wouldn't know which way, whose side is on that's not making it. All I know is the fight is not happening. Shawn Porter say he's available, he's ready to fight. Terence Crawford is taking another route. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, you know, it could come down to politics. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I really hope that Terence Crawford does come out of the top ranked thing, so all those fights can be available. Because I'm really starting to stop. I'm tired of waiting on him. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford is getting up there in age. You know what I'm saying? By the time he gets to start fighting these guys over here in PBC, you know what I'm saying? That same man in the mirror could affect him. That Father Time could affect him, you know, because he's like, what, 33, 34 now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's up there.
That's,
you know, most fighters lose their first. Right. Absolutely. By 35, when you hit 35, that's when most fighters lose their first fight. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's when it really affects them, and especially if you're fighting the top fighters out there. So, I mean, I don't know how to take the comments of Shawn Porter. I think he's genuine in what he says. I mean, I don't see nothing that says that he isn't. You know what I'm saying? You know, me personally, I have to see where it's wrong that he's saying it, and I really don't see it. But if I do see it, I will call it. But I mean, I think it's a genuine statement. You know. So, right. You know what I'm saying? I think he really wants to fight. But, you know, because Shawn Porter's game to fight anybody, though. That's him. He's game to fight anybody, regardless if he can beat that person or not. You know what I'm saying? He is game to fight anybody, unless it's somebody that he feels that's less than him, that almost beat him.
Right.
Hence, my man,
like
Ugas.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point. You brought up a lot of great points. I think it's genuine what he said, but what I'm not understanding is that I'd rather see actions. We keep hearing about this. I mean, I've been talking about this fight for a year now, and at first it's the friendship, and now it's not. But one thing for sure, he is the mandatory. So when I talked to Crawford team, they told me if Shawn Porter activates the mandatory position, then it's smoke time. All that friendship go out of the window. So if Shawn wants to fight as bad as he claims, it'd be wise if he activate the mandatory position, because he is the mandatory. He ranked #1. Crawford is mandatory, will be due soon. So why not activate the mandatory position? That's the best way to get the fight. Because as you heard Bob keeps saying, I can't afford to pay off these guys. I'm losing money. You keep claiming he losing money. We know that's not true. No. Bob, it don't look like he gonna make the Shawn Porter fight. So if Shawn Porter want to make the Crawford fight, he could apply the mandatory position if he's sincere about it. But it sounded like he's more interested in the Errol Spence rematch. My question to you is, would you rather see Shawn Porter against Errol Spence for the second time?
I would probably say Crawford, only because I think that could, for him to get another shot at Errol Spence, it would be more of a demand to see Shawn Porter get that rematch if he can beat Terence Crawford. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, once he did lose, and he lost his strap in that fight. once you did lose, if Errol chose to go somewhere else, which I'm not saying is right or wrong, if he did choose to go somewhere else, and he's not entertaining the rematch at that point, you go take the next biggest fight out there, and there's no other bigger fight than fight Terence Crawford. Now, you beat Terence Crawford, there's no way that rematch could be denied, in my opinion. No way it could be denied.
Right, and just to add on to that, if he loses to Errol Spence a second time, if they do fight again, then he ain't getting the Terence Crawford fight. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. Because
he's absolutely not getting the Terence Crawford fight.
Terence gonna look at it like, man, I ain't about to fight you. You just lost to Errol Spence twice. You lost to Kell Brook, who I just beat. You did that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not a good choice for Crawford at that point. That's why if Shawn Porter is sincere about what he's saying, which I believe him, then he need to go ahead and activate the mandatory position. Because one thing Crawford is not gonna do, he ain't on no Lomachenko. He's not going to request no French fries belt, no witness protection belt. He with the smoke. When your nickname is Bud, you ain't going to turn down no mandatory Porter. You know what I mean? So, like I said, if he's sincere, he need to go ahead and pull off that move.
Hold it. You're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I'm bad.
witness there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.